What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview. First off, thank you so much for tuning in, for checking out the show. Your support is massively appreciated. The only reason that this show exists is because of all of your amazing support. So we truly appreciate your support. I truly appreciate your support. Make sure that you're sharing the show with as many people that you feel would benefit from the show. The goal is to always grow this show and go out there and have a big impact. Real quick though, before we jump into today's podcast, I want to plug our sponsors that make all of this possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my real estate agent mentorship training program. It's a group training platform. This way it makes it extremely affordable for you. Inside this program, however, I am unpacking my entire playbook. I'm walking you through step by step everything that I do inside my real estate business, everything that I've done, everything I've learned in my 12-plus year career with selling over 5,000 homes, with selling over $1 billion in real estate. And I walk you through step by step exactly what I've done, how I built what I've built, and what I'm doing today to go out there and create this success. But don't mistake the low cost for low value. This is an insanely in-depth, step-by-step program where I'm walking you through, again, step-by-step on how I go out there. My team sells 1 to 2 homes every single day in today's market, continue to grow my business year after year, and how I've been able to exit from selling, exit from actually day-to-day involvement in my real estate team, and create an epic, amazing real estate team that not only sustains but grows without my involvement. So whatever level that you're at, whether you're a brand new real estate agent, you're an individual high producing agent that wants to expand and create a team, or if you already have an amazing team, or you're a broker owner that's looking to step up your internal training, looking to step up your systems, your processes, your tracking, make your business more predictable, this program is absolutely for anybody that's serious about leveling up inside their business. So check us out, www.90daymastery.com. Make sure you use promo code LIVEMASTERY, all one word, all together, all caps. That's going to get you the biggest discount on 90daymastery.com. You're going to see tons of testimonials on there, video testimonials, what's included in the program, the future dates of the program. I do several of these every single year, so make sure to check us out and make sure to jump inside that program ASAP. My next sponsor that makes this show possible is PerfectStormNow.com. If you're a real estate agent and you are looking for a lead generation machine website backed by an insanely powerful CRM system that allows you to convert your leads to appointments at the highest possible level, manage all your tasks, make sure that you're effective and efficient as you possibly can be inside your business, transaction management component, all of that stuff. It is hands down by far the most effective and affordable real estate website and CRM program that exists out there in the industry. It's what I use to go out there and sell 650 plus homes every single year, and the system is gnarly. If you're signing up for that program, make sure to use promo code MASTERY, PSN, all caps, all one word, all together. That'll save you the $200 registration fee and get you a great discount. Our last sponsor is REO University. So I teamed up with a good buddy of mine who is the most knowledgeable dude, hands down, that I've ever met when it comes to REO properties. This guy used to work for the banks directly as an asset manager, and he developed so many of the systems that you see that asset managers and asset management firms and banks use today. This guy sold over 11,000 properties, foreclosure properties, as an asset manager. And he and I teamed up with my experience of working with over 35 banks in my career, selling thousands of REOs, plus his experience. We've created just an insane program. Again, REO University, the website is www.REO Mastery University. It's a one-time payment for $997, or you can split that up into 3 monthly payments. This is not a live boot camp like my 90-Day Mastery boot camp. This is something that you have access to instantaneously. We walk you through exactly how to go out there and get in with the banks. So how to get the business, but then how to service that business at the highest level, how to go out there and complete BPOs, how to complete cash for keys, how to make sure that you're insane at your valuations, how to go out there and make sure that you're your asset managers are winning and hitting their goals, key indicators you need to look for, and more. There's 22 in-depth, just amazing, powerful modules that will teach you how to become an REO machine inside your real estate business. Now, if you're like me, I don't want my business to ever be in a vulnerable position, right? I don't care if it's a good market, bad market. It doesn't mean that my business needs to be good or bad. My business can always be great. During a market crash, right? There's no such thing as if the market's going to crash. It's just a matter of when, right? But again, you don't need to put yourself in a vulnerable position. You can make sure that your real estate business is 100% recession proof, and go out there and, of course, generate business, do a ton of business regardless of what's happening in the marketplace. And this is exactly how you go out there and do it. And we walk you through step by step. So check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. You can learn more about the program, hopefully register for the program, jump on in. This price will not last long, right? We just created this product, rolled it out several months ago, and just getting in the hands of the consumer, and people are having a lot of amazing success. So again, check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. All right, again, you guys, thank you so much for watching this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to share the show. Make sure to comment. Like us on YouTube. Leave some positive comments. We love hearing back from you guys, and love getting your feedback. Keep kicking ass, and let's jump on into today's interview. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode interview. Every single week, we interview top real estate agents, top entrepreneurs, and strip top badasses out there dominating their space. These are people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves and their families, as well as have an impact on others. So today, you guys, another epic, amazing guest on the show. Our guest today is a 12-year real estate investor, 10-year seasoned real estate agent, top real estate agent up in Calgary that's just kicking massive ass. So really stoked and honored to have Justin Warthe on the show. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Josh. It's an honor.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, man. So, I know you had a extensive, somewhat of extensive sales background before you got into real estate. And, before we get into, what you've done and what you're doing today with your business, I'm always intrigued in our guest journeys of what that path was that led them here in the first place. So if we rewind the clock, so what does that look like? Like, how did this whole journey start for you in the first place?
Yeah, great question. In high school, I struggled through high school, and because I have a learning disability, so I found it very difficult to acquire new skills to get through the education part of high school. And from there, I went into secondary school. Couldn't get through that, and so I decided to sort of go back onto my passion of sales and fashion. So I started selling denim at a menswear store in downtown Calgary to acquire some sales skills, and from there I grew into a pretty seasoned sales associate at that store, and transitioned into a high-end suit store in downtown Calgary from there. Which I underwent some pretty substantial training to really learn how to deal with people and go from there. So I grew from denim to suits, and then from suits I decided, if I'm going to sell something, I might as well sell something that's more expensive so that I can make a living at it. So my grandfather and my dad, both sort of real estate investors, as well as builders and developers as well. So I went back to my roots and took my sales skills, went to real estate school. Again, I struggled through real estate school because of my learning disability, but because of my work ethic and really going to my passion, I was able to get through real estate school and move forward from there.
Yeah, love it, dude. So what was the idea to get into real estate? Because it sounds, when I was checking out your bio, it sounds like you started investing in real estate years before you actually jumped in as a practitioner.
Yes.
Right, you had the it's in the family, right? Like you said, your father and grandfather builders and investors as well. When you first started that and started your investment career 12 years ago, was that dude, not just, hey, I'm just, I've got the sales gig over here. I'm just going to invest, grow my portfolios and continue to invest over here. But then getting involved in that investment process, did that start to pique the interest of actually becoming a realtor? Because it doesn't sound like your dad or your grandfather went the real estate agent route. They just went the investment route. So was it your actual involvement in the investment side that kind of attracted you to becoming a real estate agent?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would say absolutely. I just really enjoyed being able to go into these houses and see what it is to make the numbers work, to make, cash flows and all that sort of stuff in investing. And that's what really piqued my interest in getting into real estate in the first place.
Yep, love it. Well, then, like you said, you had the passion for the fashion, the high-end suits. Now, then you adopted a passion for real estate, but you're able to still fulfill that passion by wearing some kick-ass suits to go out there and sell real estate, man. Exactly. When you show up, man, I saw you on the podcast today. I'm like, whenever I show up in t-shirts and I guess show up in suits, I'm always like, man, right?
No, you look great, man.
But I love it, dude. No, you're out there kicking ass and doing it, and that's dope, dude. So because I got to imagine, dude, selling suits, especially high-end suits like you did,
yeah.
It's somebody that it's like, all right, if I'm selling cars for Toyota, right, and somebody comes in and wants to buy a $40,000 pickup truck, it's like that's kind of an easier sale. They get emotion. They can see that. But then trying to convince somebody, hey, you need this $3,000 suit. Right? I got to imagine, man, that there's a lot of sales skills that go into that most people wouldn't even think that, you wouldn't, most people, I don't think when they think of retail, they don't think of those type of sales skills. So kind of elaborate on that. Like, what were some of those sales skills that you really had to identify to become successful selling these high-end suits that have helped you very well, that you've been able to transfer over to your real estate business?
Yeah, no, I would say, some of the key skills that I learned selling high-end suits were, around personality types and being able to properly interact with the different personalities and being able to mirror their personality to make sure that you can get on the same level as every person that you talk to, as well as, making cold calls and, using scripts to call people to get them to engage in buying a $3,000 suit. It was pretty interesting way to learn how to communicate with people and really get on their level.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So then, all right. So then you jump into, again, you talked about you got in the investment, then you developed this passion for the real estate side of it. You jump into real estate, but we're in an industry where 90% of realtors drop out in the first 3 years, right? It's a very competitive industry. Most real estate agents their first year are making less than 10 grand. Even seasoned agents that are making it are making like 35, 40 grand a year. What were some of the initial things that you did out of the gate to create that success, to make sure that you didn't become a statistic and have to drop out of the business?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I would say, right out of the gate, I started putting behaviors in place. Like my neighbor was going to be stealing my business or trying to steal my business because, as you said, it's a very competitive industry. So what I did from the get-go is I started calling my COI, so my center of influence, as well as making cold calls every single day. I joined a coaching program, and it took me a couple of months to get my first deal. But what it came from was just making a lot of phone calls and asking the right questions.
Well, it sounds like your previous industry had really set you up for that. And then I got to imagine, dude, that, and I don't know if you did this or not, but you talked about your center of influence that you already had. I got to imagine that your clientele buying those high-end suits are also obviously buying real estate, whether that may be the investment side of it or everybody needs a personal home to live in. Were you able to connect those dots and leverage that and go out there and, did you start with that, like pounding all those past clients from your previous industry?
Yeah, I did. I actually called all of them as well as all of my friends and family and that sort of thing. And I'm still having some success speaking to people that I sold $3,000 suits to then sell them, a $2 million home. So it's been a really interesting transition to be able to first help them dress well and then purchase their home. It's been very interesting and a good way to build those relationships.
Yeah, that's badass, dude. So a question that I get all the time from the podcast and just other agents that are reaching out to me that we're having have a big COI, SY, whatever you want to call it. They have a big list of people that they know from, whether it's a previous career, friends, family, whatever, but they struggle with, hey, how do I reach out? I don't want to come off as far as like, hey, hey, Justin, I just got into real estate. Do you want to buy or sell? Like they want to announce that they made this transition shift, let them know that they can be there for them, but they don't want to come off as salesy, if you will. Like, how did you kind of introduce that, and how did you do that progression when, what would that initial call look like, and what did you do to let everybody know?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And what I would do is I would call them and say, hey, this is Justin. So I would just use my first name, and I would say, I helped you purchase suits at Harry Rosen. I don't know if you remember me or not. Some of them I would have sold multiple suits to and have a relationship with, but some of them I wouldn't. So I just say, don't know if you remember me or not, but you purchased that gray suit for me back in January. And I just wanted to touch base with you and let you know that I've chosen a new career path. I've started selling real estate, and I'm looking for, at that time I said I'm looking for my first deal, or my first end. And they would just say, okay, well, I'll keep that in mind and tell my family and friends, and we kind of grew from there.
Yep. And then I'm guessing it's, hey, I'll keep you in mind, and you're asking permission. Hey, are you okay with me to check in with you a few times a year, stay in touch with you? And then from there, I mean, how often, because it sounds like that's still a practice that's in place today of really targeting that list of people that you have, whether it be current clients, past clients, friends, family. How often are you reaching out to these people?
So I try to speak to everybody in our sphere of influence, in my sphere of influence, once a quarter. So I call them once every 3 months. And we also have a drip campaign set up to send them emails once a quarter as well, so that they know that they're always top of mind for us. So that's sort of how often we talk to them.
Yep. Love it, dude. Do you mind me asking, I know you talked about your learning disability, because I think so many people have this limiting belief of, well, I can't do this, or, create this success because of this, right? Like people might see, all the business, everything that you're doing, the success you're doing today, but they don't know the behind the end stuff. And a gentleman I've had on the podcast twice now, I've actually had him come speak on at events that I've spoken at. He's one of the best luxury agents that I know and I've ever met. And he's an absolute machine. But he suffered from or still does, right? But he had or has really bad dyslexia. I mean, I think it took him like 6 or 7 times to just pass his real estate exam, right? But yeah. So, and I like to kind of talk about that stuff, because it's like, those, again, people create these limiting beliefs or create these stories of, why, hey, I've got this that is going to prohibit me from this, right? But like, when my buddy was on the show, Albert's his name, we're talking about that, right? It's just like, look, dude, you're again, just removing those limiting beliefs. Like I tell agents all the time, dude, how you perform on your real estate exam has nothing to do with your success in this real estate industry. And, can you kind of just walk us through just a little bit of what that was like and what that struggle was, and just for those that might have a limiting belief with something that they're going through similar?
Yeah. So for me, it was, going into it, I felt like I was going to fail, but I was determined not to fail. So going in, through high school and university, I couldn't do it. So I thought that, real estate school was going to be the same thing. And I think, there's nothing, stronger than hard work and determination, and being able to, do your best to push through what you're meant to do. So I guess what I would sort of recommend to those people is just don't give up and keep pushing through no matter what.
Yeah. Now, did you kind of adapt your learning style? Like I've got a mentor of mine, and this guy's, just slays it. He owns a company that does over $1 billion a year in revenue, and he has really bad dyslexia. And he, like, for example, like he learned hey man, if I go to, let's just say the class or whatever, and I record it, then I re-listen to it instead of trying to read all the materials, that massively helped him. So as you were going through this, I mean, did you have any kind of awareness of like just learning at where you learn best with whether it's visual, auditory, whatever?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have some skills that have really helped me to get through real estate school, like split page notes and concept cards, and really learning what or how I learn was very beneficial as well. So I know that I learned visually, so being able to see something on a screen and learn that way was very beneficial. And that's what I applied to real estate school and how I finally was able to get through it.
Yeah, love it, dude. So totally kind of off question here, but I'm a whiteboard fanatic, and I'm a tracking systems and processes freak, right? Those that are listening to this on iTunes can't see this, but if you're on at gsdmode.com and you're watching this video, or on YouTube watching this video, behind you, some type of a whiteboard with some type of a matrix laid out on that. What's going on behind you, dude? What is that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it's a way for me to track my business. So up top, it has every month. It shows days prospected, hours prospected, the number of people I talked to, the number of leads that came from those contacts, how many listing appointments we went on, how many buyers we met with, the number of listings we took versus the number of listings we sold. Buyer sales, firm deals, deals paid out, and income earned. And then below that, we have a list of the referrals that we sent to other agents in different cities so that we can track those as well and make sure that those won't get forgotten. Then we have a to be uploaded section. So deals that haven't gone to MLS yet that we need to upload and make sure that we keep track of all of those. Signed but not on MLS, so more exclusive type listings. Sent paperwork but no signature, so we're just waiting on signatures to be able to have the paperwork in place. Then we track Calgary real estate market review, so basically it shows months of inventory, number of sales, number of listings, so that we can stay on top of that each week as well. Below that, we have a section for our mantras, so basically what we're trying to achieve, we write it out and we make sure that we say that every day as well to keep that top of mind. Below that, it's a big part of my belief to be gracious and have gratitude. So we write, 5 things that we're thankful for each day to make sure that that's top of mind all the time as well. Then below that, we have our affirmations. So it's a way for us to get pumped up before we get on the phone. And then we have firm deals to pay out, conditional sales, listings, and then we track our buyer sales versus seller sales, our team total for sales, and our commissions paid.
That's badass, dude. And most people have these, trackers like a Google, Google Sheets tracker or whatever, but you've had this like custom created and printed into a whiteboard, dude.
Yeah.
That's badass. Would you be willing to like email me personally just like a blank copy of what that structure is? That's awesome.
Of course. Yeah, man, of course.
Yeah, it's killer. What's so cool about that, right, is not only is that front of mind awareness of you seeing these every day of keeping on track of, okay, here's our goal, here's where we're at year to date on those goals, on our annual goals. But then you're breaking that down daily where you see it, your teammates see it, everybody sees it, everybody's on the same page. Those daily visuals are so badass, man. And I don't think people really realize the power of those and having it front of mind awareness until they've done it, right? Kind of talk to us about that with having that visual for everybody on your team to see, as well as it forces you guys to be really transparent as far as a team so everybody knows what's going on. How has that impacted your overall team?
Yeah, it's really helped our organization as a team and being able to see all of those things and keep them top of mind each day, as well as breaking it down by agent as well so that they can see where each agent is at, so it helps push other agents to new levels. Has been a huge part of it, as well as just helping our mindset as a team as well. Keeping, what we're thankful for top of mind has been huge because that shows us, what we've done has really helped us, anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but you can cut some of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good, man. Sweet. So yeah, it's just keeping those things that we're thankful for top of mind has been huge. Having those affirmations that we say each day has been awesome for our mindset and being able to make us, have a lot of energy each day to be able to go out there and do the things that we need to do.
Yep, love it, dude. So walk us through what your team structure looks like today.
Yeah, so I'm the team lead, and then we have 2 agents as well as a full-time assistant, and from there we're gonna grow our team. I'd like to eventually have maybe 7 agents on the team and a couple of full-time assistants, and it's our number one goal to get the top of our market. So we're just going out there each day and making a lot of phone calls and talking to a lot of people. Asking them in creative ways if they are looking to buy or sell real estate, or if they know anybody else looking to buy or sell real estate.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you guys are still kind of like in the beginning where you were really prospecting based, just like when with the suits, you're talking about cold calling and, a lot of that. I mean, is that still true today? I mean, is it, are you heavily prospecting based where you guys are out there still cold calling, circle prospecting, spires, whatever that looks like, or are you in a combination of, buying internet leads and wherever that comes in? What do you guys, as we're doing this interview, we'll wind up 2017. What's the, I guess, percentage of that business that's coming in for this 2017? What would that look like? Like, again, prospecting versus marketing based.
Yeah, so we're doing a combination of both. We do a lot of prospecting, expireds, just listed, just sold, a lot of open houses, and we also do a lot of calling sphere of influence, like I'd mentioned before. And percentage, though, I'd say the majority of our business right now comes from referrals. Yeah. As well, just asking people that we've worked with in the past for business. As well as we've just actually started to dabble in internet leads as well. So we have, actually that's another part of our team, is we have an ISA that warms up the leads for us from the internet and then transfers us live on the phone. Yep.
Love it, dude. Love it. So one is, you talked about before, you guys are very intentional, and you have been for the last decade of every 90 days, picking up that phone, talking to everybody in your sphere, every past client, having those conversations. And, it's sad that so many real estate agents just neglect all those past clients. And that's your true gold, right? These are people you've already paid for, you've already worked for. It's the money tree in our backyards that so many people neglect. So you got that dialed in. And then walk us through, an idea. It sounds like you said that a lot of your new business is coming from just sold, just listed phone prospecting. What does that look like? Are you just kind of building a list of, hey, we just listed this property, going to call the 500 closest neighbors with this script? Like, walk us through what that looks like.
Yeah, so our just listed, just sold calls are based on, so we take the location and then we circle an area on an online database to bring us about, between 200 and 1,200 phone numbers that we can call around that listing. So we just dial all day long, basically, speaking to people in the neighborhood. And we have it down to, if we speak to 100 people, usually we'll get one appointment, and then from every 3 appointments we'll get one end.
Yeah, one. So one for 3 appointments, that equates to 1 actual closing.
Usually.
Yep. Yeah, which is huge. My team numbers are 26% of appointment conductions equates to a closing. So you got 33% or so, and that's all. Those are awesome numbers, right? Because obviously everybody you go to an appointment with isn't ready to list. Every home that you list doesn't always sell. Everything you put in escrow doesn't always close. Yeah, right. So those are great numbers. So then of 100 conversations, right, and let's just say that, the stats are about 10% of people answer their phone. So you're looking at, and does this hold true to you, for about 1,000 dials that it takes to get 1 listing appointment?
I would say it's about that number for sure. Yeah, 1,000 dials for 1 listing. Yeah. Yeah. Which, and the reason I want to bring that up is so many real estate agents, they give up so quick, or they don't realize the amount of effort it takes. It's like, oh, dude, I called 200 people, man, and I got nothing, right? They don't understand that consistency. So then, in order to do that,
right? When you're talking $1,000 for a listing appointment, because you guys are doing some good volume, right? So do you block off a certain amount of time where you and your agents, where it's like, hey guys, we're mandated to be in the office from, let's just say 8 a.m. to 11 or whatever that may be every day. We're all going to jump on like a Mojo dialer, whatever that may be, and knock out these calls. I mean, is that something that's built into your business plan on a daily basis with your daily focus?
To be honest with you, it hasn't been for 2017, and that's been one of the biggest struggles that we've had as a team is staying accountable to that type of schedule and that kind of structure. But moving into 2018, that's one of our plans for sure, is to have 2 hours per day blocked out for phone calls that everybody comes into the office, everybody's in a different room, and we just dial.
Yeah. And then do those numbers that you said that you gave, do those seem to hold true for your expireds as well?
We're actually, in Canada, we're not allowed to prospect expireds.
Okay.
However, we do have a creative way of doing that, but I probably shouldn't say that on the podcast.
Yeah, love it, dude. So then give us an idea of, what do you, those that are maybe listening to this that are like, hey man, I want to go out there and hit my just listen, just sold as well and do something similar. Mm-hmm. What do you say, right? I mean, because people are like, okay, that's great, but what the hell do I say to get an appointment?
Yeah, no, great question. So we call them and say, hi, this is Justin Warthe with the Top Calgary Real Estate Team at RE/MAX. Just calling today to let you know that we just sold a home in your neighborhood. And we know when one house sells in a neighborhood, usually 2 or more sell right away. So who do you know that may be planning on making a move in the next little while?
Yeah.
And it's just straightforward like that. And we just say that, 100 times in a day, and usually one of them will stick.
Yep. Love it. Right. Then with the gist listed, is it the same script or like with my gist listed script, it's, hey, just reaching out to inform you that we just took a new listing in your area, just reaching out as a courtesy to all the neighbors in the area, just to see if you might know somebody, a friend, family member, coworker that you'd love to have as a neighbor. I mean, do you know anybody that's looking that might be interested that I can send this information to, right? And then, that's how we lead into it. Then of course we offer them a free market analysis and try to get their time frame. And, how is the gist listed tweaked a little separate from the gist sold?
It's very similar. So we say, hi, this is Justin calling with RE/MAX. Just calling to let you know that we just listed a home in your neighborhood. And, how does it go? Oh yeah, we wanted to call and see if you happen to know anybody that might be looking to move closer to you.
Yeah. Such a simple script, right?
So simple. Yeah.
Well, the reason I love to ask, one, I just like to, pick other brains of people that are having success with this stuff. But then two, a lot of our listeners that are here, like I think most of them get, all right, dude, I got to pick up the phone. I got to take action, right?
Yeah.
But they think they've got to have some revolutionary script. And I'm like, dude, what you really say isn't all that important. It's just getting on the phone and doing it. And I think, and I'll get your opinion on this, but it's almost more of the energy and the confidence and the certainty that you say it with, right?
Yes.
But that comes from getting on the phone, doing the dials that you develop that certainty and your script practice and those things. Would you agree to that?
I would agree with that 100%. I think the more times you say it, the more confident you're going to get with it. And I also think the more you get rejected, the more confident you're going to get with it, because it makes you improve so that you don't get rejected in that way again.
Yep. Love it, dude. And then, all right, so you guys also started recently doing some internet marketing and what are some of the things that you're having success with when it comes to the online marketing? Are you doing like Facebook ads? Are you buying, third-party ads? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we recently hired a great company, a local company actually, that does Google AdWords.
Okay.
And they basically send us the leads from the Google AdWords, and then our ISA warms up those leads, and then from there we're able to convert it into an appointment.
Yeah. Now with the ISA model being new to you, and that's actually newer to me as well. I've only about 2 years now, right? And we're really starting to see the power of this. And, that's like, I'm trying to build an army of ISAs, like get a dozen ISAs and blow the hell out of it because you see the power in it so quickly. Do you see yourself now that you've had this like expanding on that where, hey, maybe we even bring in ISAs to do the just sold, just listed, other elements of prospecting. I mean, are you seeing a power in that with results where you're looking to grow that and expand that for the future?
Yeah, that's actually something that we experimented with this year, is hiring a few people, like a few of our friends and family members, to just do just listed, just sold calls all day long, and that proved to be a very successful way of doing it. However, the struggle we had was keeping the people motivated and wanting to keep doing that. So they would stay for a couple of months and we'd have awesome success, and then they'd quit and we'd be back to square one. So that was sort of where we were at with that. But I think in 2018 and maybe into 2019, we'll probably bring on an ISA to do just listed, just sold as well.
Yeah. So what's the market like right now in Calgary? It's just like everywhere. I mean, real estate's so hyper local. Like I might talk to, a real estate agent in Toronto that's like, it's been on fire for 20 years. It's been a seller's market for 20 years. Now they're starting to see it slowly start to shift and the market softening there. But, I was talking with a good buddy of mine, it's probably about a year ago, but up in Alberta, and be with oil, right? What was happening there? I mean, they were just starting to come out of a recession, right? We're down here in the States, it was booming. Like what's going on in Calgary right now? Is it seller's market, buyer's market, strong market? What's it looking like?
Yeah, so we have about 6,500 homes on the market right now in Calgary. And so we're in a buyer's market. People are still skeptical of oil prices and the way the economy has been going. However, we're starting to see a bit of a transition. For years and years, Alberta has been solely dominant on oil prices. And now we're sort of seeing a transition into seeing tech companies come into Calgary as well. So that's starting to bring some consumer confidence back to the market. So I think that's going to be a huge win for us here in 2018 as well, to start seeing some more of those companies succeed, and people will start taking their focus off low oil prices.
Yeah. So now, I mean, with a decade, you've experienced all the different extremes and everything in between, from extreme buyers markets, extreme sellers markets, and again, everything in between. Mm-hmm. How have you transitioned through those market shifts to continue growing and continue creating success? Because so many agents just get hit so hard during those transitions.
Absolutely. I think the key is no matter what the market is, make sure that you keep prospecting, keep talking to more people, because end of the day, people need a place to live. So you have to pick up the phone and just talk to more people. Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, it's one of these things where, because as real estate agents, we always get asked, is it a good market? My response is, it's always a good market. Like, it's always good for somebody. If I'm in a buyer's market, it's good for buyers. It's good for my investors. It's, obviously sellers markets are good for sellers, but it's always good for somebody. Absolutely.
Like you said, the prospecting always takes place. There might be markets where I want to be more seller-based prospecting heavy. And then there's markets where, like, shit, dude, I don't care if I get a seller. I just want an abundance of buyers, right? And that focus can transition. But like you said, the prospecting must always stay consistent.
Yeah. And you just, if you're not doing enough business, then, you're not busy. So get on the phones and just talk to people, right? Or go to events and network with different people, or just find creative ways of getting out there and talking to as many people as you can, and have, meaningful conversations with them.
Yeah. And you brought that word up a couple times, creative ways, right, to have these conversations. What's some examples of kind of some of the out of the box creative ways, because again, real estate agents, the thing I hear over and over and over from real estate agents is, I don't want to be that salesy person, and for me, like, I've always, just like you, I've always grown up in sales. I had a sales background in real estate or in health clubs before I got in here. Like, I've always been proud of the fact I'm a sales guy. Like, it's never, I've never like been like, I don't want to be the sales guy. I'm like, I love being the sales guy. Right. But I know it's like 95% of agents I talk to, they don't want to be known as the sales guy. So they're looking for those creative, hey, how do we strike up the conversation, add value, let them know that I'm here to be their realtor and also a resource without being in their face, this salesy, pushy person. Like, what are some of those creative ways that you guys do well with?
Yeah, so for us, we focus first on the relationship. So we make sure that we're focused on them as a person, and make it about them and about what they need and about their, their lifestyle and their needs and their wants. And then from there, it doesn't feel salesy, right? You're just asking them questions about what they need and what they want. And I think they tend to appreciate that. Maybe it's not so creative. It's pretty basic, right? But that's how we found a lot of success.
Yep. Love it, dude. So, you've got, really a smaller team, right? It's you and you got your couple full-time agents, you got a TC, and then most recently the ISA. Give us an idea of like what 2017 is going to end up with, with gross volume sales for you guys.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what our gross volume is, to be honest with you, but we did about 50 ends this year, and we're hoping to double that next year.
Yep.
So, I would guess that our volume is somewhere in the range of about, 30 million, give or take.
Yeah. You guys, what's your average? You guys are in a good price point up there too, right?
Yeah. Our average price is about 475,000.
Yep. Yeah. Unlike, me down here in Phoenix, Arizona, where we're like, low to mid 200s, we get a 300,000 or sale. We're like, oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
So, I'll talk to agents, like buddies of mine or people having the podcast, from like areas of California. And, when they hear the amount of units I do, they're always like, oh, that's so insane. I'm like, yeah, but dude, I got to sell a lot of houses at a $200,000 price point compared to, something that's in that higher price point for sure.
Have you ever, just a quick question for you, have you ever considered going to other markets that have a higher price point as well?
Yeah. Well, and where we're at, in Phoenix, there's definitely pockets that have a very high price. Well, like Paradise Valley is the fifth most expensive zip code inside the United States, and we
that's where we had our wedding. Actually, was Paradise Valley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? So, but dude, just being honest, man, I love the mid 2 price point, right? That 250 price point. You have so many people buying, so many people selling, right? It's always there. There's more consistency to it. And, so that's just been, we've experimented a lot with over the years, but that's just a niche I love, man.
That's awesome.
Right. So we just kind of full force with that. So we talked about your whiteboard and kind of the tracking that you guys do. Most real estate agents, right, they see themselves as real estate agents. They don't treat this as a business. They're not tracking. They're not paying attention to their numbers, right? They're not running any type of profit and loss statements. They don't know what the hell their ROI is. They have no idea in the back end, right? When I'm having conversations with agents of, well, what are your monthly expenses compared to this? It's like you're looking at a deer in headlights. It's all their best guesses. And I know that you're a guy that obviously is paying attention to this and always tracking. And, talk to us the importance of tracking and knowing your numbers, how that's related to your overall success in your business.
Yeah, I think tracking your numbers is huge because, if you track, how many people you have to talk to and, based on how many appointments you're going to go on, as well as, how many of those you convert, it becomes a lot more predictable what your income's going to be. And I think in a business where you don't know, where the next check is going to come from, it creates a lot more security and stability for yourself and your family. And I think like any business, I think we need to take it very seriously and know those numbers on the front end, on the sales side, as well as the back end and the accounting side.
Yeah. What I love about real estate now, it sucks getting started because everything you do now, you don't see the fruits for 90 to 120 days, right? But once you get that momentum going, what's so great about it is everything you do now, you see the fruits in 920 days. So you can always predict the future in this business, right? Like based on, like we know, and what we track, like we know exactly how many reach outs, how many conversations, how many appointments set, and how it translates to the funnel. So I know from what's happening in December, I know exactly what my March in 2018 is already going to look like. And, just like everybody, I have great months and I have months that aren't so great. But I know that those not so great months are coming months ahead of time. So I might have to be like, hey guys, we got to rein in on some expenses, or, I have to cancel that vacation with my family, whatever it may be. You can plan way ahead of time for those rainy days if you're paying attention and tracking this stuff. Most unfortunately don't do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's huge. It's such a good way to be able to plan and also know when you have to work harder.
Yeah. Yep. So then, I know that, you started this journey through real estate investments, right? How active are you still on the investment end? And then also, like, what are some things that you have found of like how you can leverage both to help build both up?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've sort of leveraged my experience on the investment side to be able to help educate other investors that we're helping to purchase properties. So that's a really good way that we've been able to sort of leverage that knowledge. Yeah, I mean, I'd say based when I was investing, that was way back in the day, and I've cashed out on all of those investments, and now I'm strictly focused on sales. I am planning on getting back into the investment side in 2018, but I've been really focused on building our team and building our systems and processes and that sort of thing over the last little while.
Yeah, love it. So the goal is to double for 2018. So we're talking, 100 ends, as you guys call it, up. Is it that's the terminology in Calgary instead of units or closings? It's ends.
I guess so. Yeah. That's what I've always kind of known. So
yeah. So then, when you have, let's just say you have a dual agency, will you have the listing but also represent the buyer? Do you guys classify that as two ends or one end?
We classify that as two.
Okay, cool. Yep. And we do this. Yeah, that's kind of the standard down here too. So you're looking to double that. So with that, is the main plan then for that just to bring on more agents?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we don't bring on more agents, that's our goal. But if we do end up bringing on more agents, we'd like to do more volume than that. So I'd like each of our agents right now to do 25 units each, and then for me to do 50 units on my own.
Yep. Love it, dude. So as we're winding up, 2017, this podcast will probably release beginning of 2018, but as you and I have this conversation, what is it, like the 21st, 22nd of, we're a few days away from Christmas here. As you're winding down this year, and I'm sure you've been doing a lot of reflection on this, what was, either the top or a couple of the top things that you implemented in 2017 that you felt, had the biggest impact on your business? And even if it has something to do with maybe nothing to do with business, right? Sometimes I ask people this question like, hey man, I leveled up in my health and that exploded my business by taking my health as a priority. Like if you had to boil down to, either one, or maybe it's hard to do one, maybe it's a couple things, what would you say those things were that had the biggest impact?
I'm not sure what is going to have the biggest impact yet, but a few of the things that we've kind of done here towards the end of the year is bringing on the ISA and starting on internet leads. Another one is I actually just filmed for a TV show a couple of days ago as well. So
nice.
Go on a TV show and get out there that way. We've also been going to lots of seminars. I was at Tony Robbins yesterday, learning some pretty cool stuff about life and business and being able to level up in all areas of your life, which is I think huge. And definitely listening to your podcast too and learning from those has been a huge help. So kudos on that, man.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. Truly appreciate that, dude. What would you say, have you, whether it was 2017 or maybe, just of all time, what would have been some, because I know you're somebody that obviously is into your self-development. What have been some of the, your like top recommended books that you would recommend to realtors or just any entrepreneur that have had a big impact on you?
Yeah, so I'd say 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was a really, really good one that I read a couple of years ago, and it really took my life to the next level. Another one is the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
Yeah,
it's another really good one too, because it's just it's all about grinding and doing 10 times the effort that you think it's going to take to the place you want to be. And I think those two things or those two books really helped me get to where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah, love it, dude. So knowing everything that you know now today, right after 10 years of building this business, if you could go back to like the Justin today, could go back to the Justin 10 years ago when you first started entered this industry and give yourself just a couple pieces of advice, if it would have just fast forward your trajectory to success, what would those couple pieces of advice look like?
So I would say that mindset is always, the most important. So even if you're having a bad day, convince yourself that you're not, and just be positive no matter what. Another one would be to just talk to more people, talk to as many people as you can about real estate every day, and keep that top of mind no matter what. As well as just making sure to track your numbers, because like we talked about earlier, it's the key to being able to know what tomorrow's going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, dude, dude, I harp on agents. I harp on my teammates about tracking their numbers to the point where, I'm sure I offend the hell out of some people, right? Because I'm like, look, you cannot honestly say you're committed to your success unless you're tracking your numbers. And
Absolutely.
I'm hardcore with that, right? But then I tell everybody, for the first half of my career, I did not track my numbers, and I was having some success, right? However, I was like, my business plan was just to outwork everybody. And that, and I did. I was working 4 a.m. to midnight, and that only takes you so far, right? Then when I started tracking my numbers, I was like, holy shit, it was probably 60 or 70% of the activities I was involving myself in were unnecessary, right? And you got to work hard and you got to grind, but there's no reason for me to sacrifice all those years and that amount of time and away from my family if I was just tracking my numbers, man. It's just so powerful.
So powerful. I agree.
Yep. Love it, dude. So then, all right. So I'm sure at this point, you've got your, we talked about your business goals for 2018, when you're personally doing your goal setting, are you focused on business goals, or do you also, to make sure that you're being intentional with, your family, with your health? I mean, are you being intentional about your goal planning in every aspect of your life?
Absolutely. And so I think it's really important to break those down by category, and then break those categories into separate goals. So for us, we also translate that to our schedule as well. So I black out times for the gym. I black out times for prospecting new business. I black out times to spend with my wife and our dog and that sort of thing. So, and I think that's very important to have goals in each category.
Yeah. Now, do you do are you into vision boards, or is there anything else that you do that you found effective that you would recommend that our audience listeners do?
Absolutely. I think vision boards can be very, very powerful because it's top of mind every day, and making sure that vision board is in front of you. So I put it beside my computer. So I have, photos of what I want my life to look like. And then because if you can envision it, then you can achieve it. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it, dude. So then, to create success in any business, not just real estate, but any business, it's not just like, all right, I got to work my ass off for 90 days and I'm going to create success. It's that decade, of getting up and going through the grind and doing that. And there's a lot of days where we wake up and we're like, dude, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do any of this shit, right? And but we got to choose to not listen to our emotions and so to get ourselves to take action. And, because at the end of the day, the only magic pill that exists is consistency. So you got to be consistent with your activities, whether you feel like it or not. And that's really what commitment discipline is about. And what are the things, dude, that you personally do to get yourself to do the work, when you have those days where you're unmotivated, maybe you're even feeling depressed, you don't feel like doing any of this stuff. Like, how do you get yourself to take the action?
I'd say for me, it's more so about just envisioning my end goal each morning, and just thinking, well, what is it that I want to achieve, and why am I doing everything that I'm doing every day to achieve the success that I want? So it's that, and then it's also putting things in place like saying our affirmations every day and our gratitudes, and just really staying focused on those. as well as as cheesy as it sounds, but just cranking the music when you're getting ready for the day.
Yeah.
Just getting amped up.
Yeah. I love it, man. I mean, because I get asked this all. I mean, people from watching the podcast or watch me speak or whatever, like people just always assume that I'm always fired up and I'm always motivated. And I'm like, dude, I think I struggle with motivation as much as any human being. But just like you, I have an intentional daily motivation plan to get myself back in the state. Because I'm not a morning person. I fucking hate mornings. You know, right? Right? And I don't want to get up and do any of this stuff. You know, once I go through my routine and I get focused and I start doing the work, then taking the action breeds more action. But it's like I have to have a daily motivation plan to get myself. And, you know, mine's very similar to yours. You know, right?
Huge. And I heard that you wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning or something.
Dude, I woke up up until a year ago. I woke up at 3 a.m. I was a 3 a.m. wake up guy for years and years and years. Wow. Well, I mean, for 9 years, you know, right. I followed that routine. Once we started having kids, I just needed to create more time. Now, with that being said, I go to bed early. You know, I'm one of those, I always tell people, listen to your body. Like I suck at nights. Like after 8, 9 o'clock at night, like I just suck. And I don't enjoy mornings, but I'm more mentally sharp and better in the morning. So you know, I still made sure it wasn't like I was pulling, you know, sleeping 2 hours a night, right? I'd make sure I still get my 5 or 6 hours a night in. But then this last year, it was funky, dude. I'll tell you what, it was one of the hardest things I had to do was transition my schedule. And not because of like getting my body reacclimated. It was an ego thing, you know, right? Like I felt all this internal guilt for sleeping in and not doing it, even though it's unnecessary. I have all this, you know, amazing teammates around me, people doing these activities, you know, and one of the big things I did over the last year is I hired a peak performance coach who actually was a psychologist and she just realized the passion wasn't in psychology, but was working with high executives and top CEOs and doing peak performance consulting. And that was one of the things that we've worked on very heavily was my sleep. And so now, dude, I found my optimal is 8.5 hours a night. You know, I've got to be, I'm very strict with it. So I don't wake up now till, believe it or not, 7 a.m. every day, you know, right? So yeah. So, and that's been a big game changer, you know, now, were, you know, those 4 or 5 hour sleep nights necessary at that time of my life? Somewhat, you know, right? And when you're doing, you know, repetitive tasks, like, dude, you and me, we can go do listing presentations in our sleep. You know, it doesn't take a lot of cognitive thought, but as we become team leaders and you know, we're making very, very high level strategic decisions, we need optimal brain power. And you know, like my peak performance coach, and her name's Camille Rose. And I highly recommend, you know, if you're looking for somebody like that, she's the best I've ever worked with this stuff. She's just brilliant. You know, but she always tells me, look, the more successful you become, the higher level of your self-care, you know, you higher level that you got to take care of yourself and your self-care, which includes your mind. And, you know, so, but yeah, dude, that 3 a.m. grind was, it was years, dude, just operating like a zombie, you know, and pushing through it, you know.
Do you think you would have been more optimal getting the sleep that you're getting now, or you know, are you glad that you woke up at 3 o'clock and went to bed at, you know, whatever time?
You know, dude, No, I wouldn't go back and do it any different. You know, I probably should have experimented with different ways and you know, but here's the thing for me is it's always been like, I'm very clear on what I want to create and the goals that I have, but I'm also very clear on what I'm willing to sacrifice and what I'm not willing to sacrifice. So many people set these big goals, but they don't, you know, get clear on what they're willing to sacrifice and not sacrifice. So for me, it's like, you know, I'm not willing to sacrifice my health, not willing to sacrifice my relationship with my kids, not willing to sacrifice a relationship with my wife. Outside of that, like I'll give up social life. I'll give up everything else to go out there and create what I want to create. And there's times where you go through those growth pains where it's like, yeah, you're expanding so fast and you're growing so fast, but you don't necessarily have the money to hire key executives or key people So the work's got to get done. I mean, I went through phases where I'm pulling 2 all-nighters a week and that stuff.
That's tiring.
When I say I'm not willing to sacrifice my health, I don't know what the long-term impacts of that are going to be. But I am, I work with a private optimal health physician. I get my blood work done every 90 days. We analyze, reassess everything. I eat a very strict diet, and but then it gets to a point where, again, it's just not necessary. It's just like, I speak to so many entrepreneurs, and I went through this, where you're used to grinding 80 or 100 hours a week, but you develop this team around you. And now, okay, I only need to work 30 hours a week. Yeah. We're so used to working 80 or 100. You almost like, I think as men too, we almost like define our worth of that way. And now it's like, oh, fuck, I'm not needed. I don't, and you get this boredom kicks in, and you got all this internal war going on. And a lot of that for me, I think, was just ego. I mean, was it necessary, to answer your question? Yeah, at certain periods, but I allowed it to go on way longer than necessary out of ego, Yeah. And then also I'm
working hard, and I feel good working hard, right?
Yeah. Well, and then, I got known for it. My teammates and everyone was like, so I'm like, well, shit, man, if people aren't seeing the screenshots of me waking up at 3 a.m., it was all silly stuff, but the ego is a real thing, and it literally took me, months, dude, and I had to seek a professional consultant coach to overcome that. And it was a real battle, dude.
Good for you, man. Like that's cool though. I commend you for being able to get up at 3 a.m. and do that on a consistent basis, because I tried that for a bit after I watched one of your podcasts, and I lasted 2 days.
Yeah. So, well, and again, it's one of those things where, like I said, I went to bed at a decent time, and it was just forcing even with my coaching clients, I'm like, look, guys, I'm not. Don't try to become me or do what I did. Like, listen to your own body. At the end of the day, you got to listen to your own body. And I'm just one that, I can operate on little to no sleep, right now I can operate, but does that mean it's still good, or I'm operating at my best self or whatever? And I think that's the most important thing, is just listening to yourself, and then too, this whole like, oh, to be successful, you got to get up early, right? Well, okay. Like back in the day, like, when you were a farmer or something, right? Yeah, you had to do that, right? I get how that existed, but as soon as the work gets done, who gives a shit? Like, if you're not a morning person, and if you're a night owl, right? Work till 2 a.m. I got a good buddy of mine that does over 300 units a year, 300 ends a year, and he doesn't roll in the office till noon every day. He wakes up at 10 a.m., but he likes to work till 2 a.m. I mean, but that's where his rhythm is, right? So again, just know your body and listen to your body. So.
Cool.
Yeah. So love it, dude. So I know we're getting long on time here. Justin, where's the best place for people to learn more about you? Maybe they have a referral in your area they want to send you, or we've got a lot of agents that are in your area that listen to the podcast. Maybe they want to talk to you as you're going through this expansion and growth. Maybe they want to talk to you about joining your team. What's the best place to go learn more about you and stay in touch with you at?
Yeah, so if you'd like to do that, visit www.topcalgaryrealestate.com. Or you can visit any of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yep. Love it. And you guys watching, listening, as always, we'll have those links right below to make it easy on you. So,
awesome.
All right, dude. So, and you've watched the podcast. So, people are watching the podcast. They want to go out there and get that inspiration, that knowledge to go out there and build the life they know they truly want and deserve. So do you have any last words of maybe advice or inspiration that you'd like to leave our listeners with so they can go out there and do exactly that?
I would just recommend that people keep working hard and again, tracking your numbers and making sure that you're religious with your prospecting.
Yep. Couldn't agree more, man. Like we said earlier, consistency is the only magic pill, dude. So I love it, brother. Those that are watching, listen, I know in every podcast with this, but information without implementation truly is just the start of delusion. Information isn't power. It's taking that information, taking action on it, massive action that creates the power in your life for you to go out there and create the life that you truly know you want, you truly deserve. Justin shared so many amazing pieces of advice with you guys. Say, take something that you learned, take immediate action. Don't wait. Take that immediate action to, again, create the life you know you want and deserve. And thank you so much for watching and listening. And Justin, man, I know you're a busy man. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here, man. It's been a lot of fun. It's been an honor.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Josh. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%, my friend. All right, you guys, thanks again, and we will see you next time.